We've been reporting extensively on the heat waves that have hit large areas of Europe, the United States, and parts of Asia. Well, now, leading scientists have told the BBC they're concerned by the recent run of new climate records being set.
Scientists in Australia who have examined the skeletons of coral and historic data say the evidence is clear that the reef is in danger and governments have to act now.
Moving on, Europe's climate monitor has said that this year is effectively certain to be the hottest on record and the first above a critical threshold to protect the planet from dangerously overheating.
The fate of TikTok in North America could be decided this week. In a decision due today, a federal appeals court is set to say whether or not they uphold an appeal by TikTok over a US law which demands the social media app is sold by its Chinese parent company.
Today we're diving into a topic that's both urgent and eye-opening: how TikTok is accelerating climate change. Wait, what? TikTok and climate change? Yes, you heard that right. Before you scroll away, please just give me a few minutes of your time because this is something we all need to be aware of. You might not realize how your latest fashion haul and global warming are connected, but trust me, it's all intertwined. So if you care about our planet, stick around. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more important discussions. Let's jump right in. So, my argument is that TikTok speeds up the trend cycle, which causes more clothes to be bought and manufactured. One might ask, okay, what's wrong with more clothes being bought and manufactured? Fair question. The clothing industry is one of the most polluting industries, and pollution, especially air pollution, is a significant cause of an increase in global warming. And global warming is climate change. Okay, this makes sense. So this argument begs the question, how does TikTok speed up the trend cycle, causing more clothes to be bought and manufactured? Perfect. Let me answer that. Social media in general, not just TikTok, is causing a historic shortening of the trend cycle. But for brevity, this video is going to focus on TikTok. Just to note that all of the sources that I quote or use to research this video will be linked in the description for your reading pleasure. In the past, the trend cycle in fashion was 20 years, meaning trends typically stayed around and relevant for 2 decades. This doesn't mean that there were no occurrences of short-lived trends. However, shorter trends were usually considered corny rather than cool. This shows us our first difference between trend cycles of the past and now. Nowadays, it is considered cool to stay up to date with passing, insignificant trends by the people who take part in them. This wasn't really the case in the past. Because of this, many people who wore trendy clothes on TikTok even 3 years ago have forgotten about those clothes and are considering the newest thing, like bubble skirts, which were popular just some weeks ago. Obviously, the ability to move from trend to trend, buying at every urge, is a sign of financial privilege. I just want to acknowledge that. A reason TikTok has caused a shortening of trend cycles is because of how quickly people can be exposed to trends. In the past, clothes started on the runway and then filtered down to shops that the average person shopped at. Now anyone can post about something they really like, or a clip of a celebrity wearing something can go super viral overnight, driving people to the checkout at alarmingly fast rates. Companies often scramble to up the production of an item to meet the demand. I also feel that before the prevalence of social media, items had to work harder to become trendy. They had to prove themselves and offer something unique that drew throngs of people to them. I'd say clothes or accessories had to be useful in addition to being aesthetically appealing. Now, companies just produce things en masse to get as many sales in the short run, not considering whether they will have an excess of the product in the very near future when consumers inevitably move on to the next shiny thing. I think that a lot of things trending these days are not actually useful, or maybe a better wording is practical for everyday use. Something practical is bandanas. Not only are bandanas a cute way to accessorize an outfit, but they were originally made with a practical use in mind, for protection and cleanliness. Because of this utility, bandanas have been trendy many times, not just once. This contrasts with something that became trendy mainly through TikToks, like the Stanley drinking cups. Sure, they have the use of being cups to drink from, but there are many other cups that you can drink from. Many other cups are very similar to Stanley cups, but differ only in price and design. Despite the trivialness of Stanley cups being the cup that every middle schooler needed, people felt a strong urge to buy the cup. Some parents even took to TikTok to talk about how their kids had been bullied for not having a Stanley cup.
So we went and bought her a 30-ounce Stanley. In our area, at our local Ace Hardware, these are $35. Can we afford to buy her a Stanley? Yes. Did I think that she needed one? No. Apparently I've been proven wrong by the children in our school that are making fun of her for not having a real name brand Stanley.
Whoa, that seems like a lot of drama for a fad that no longer has any relevance. Now, I know we're talking about cups, but this same concept applies to clothes. People's Stanley cups are probably collecting dust because the novelty of the item has passed. So, TikTok does not only encourage consumerism by speeding up the trend cycle, but it also does so by giving people a huge audience to post their clothing hauls to, which encourages others to buy the clothes and the brands that they are seeing. This is particularly harmful because a lot of clothing hauls are for fashion brands like Shein, Temu, and Forever 21. More people are buying from these brands because they have been exposed to them and they're popularized online. One of the main reasons that fast fashion is popular is because of its price. Clothes that are fast fashion are usually cheap and affordable, giving more incentive to buy them. At Shein, someone can buy more clothes than they could from a sustainable fashion brand for the same amount of money. For consumers, the opportunity cost of buying clothes from sustainable brands or even thrifting outweighs the perceived benefit from ditching fast fashion. Now, we've seen how TikTok causes people to buy more clothes. Let's look into why this is a problem. Okay, according to the UN's Environment Program, the fast fashion industry is the second biggest consumer of water, and it is responsible for 10% of global emissions, which is more than all international flights and maritime shipping combined. Much of the emissions that the fast fashion sector is releasing are greenhouse gases. You probably learned about greenhouse gases in middle or high school, but in case you didn't know, greenhouse gases trap the sun's heat in the atmosphere, causing the Earth's temperature to rise. Natural and human systems are sensitive to rising temperatures. Rising temperatures are having a negative effect on life here on Earth. Some consequences of this excessive temperature increase are
unprecedented heat waves, precipitation, sea rise, and food shortages that lead to starvation,
all of which are detrimental to humans. The fashion industry uses an astounding amount of water, with a single t-shirt requiring 2,700 liters of water and a pair of jeans requiring 10,000 liters. Buying fast fashion just to forget about them when something else becomes popular is literally wasting thousands of gallons and liters of water. Gallons and liters of water that should have been purified and consumed by the quarter people globally who do not have access to clean drinking water. Normalization of consumerism breeds apathy for the consequences of the clothing being produced. It is not good to constantly buy clothes that you're not going to wear. It is not good for your clothes to only last a few wears because you prioritize quantity over quality. It is not good for millions of tons of clothing to be made just for so much of it to go to the landfill. Much of clothes in landfills are burned, releasing greenhouse gases into the atmosphere. Surely there must be a better way. We must all wear clothes, right? Yes, fortunately or unfortunately, we do not live in a nudist society, and clothes are a priority. So now I'm going to talk about what we as consumers can do to try and make a scratch in this ginormous problem. It's easy to point fingers at the big bad corporations, which should change, but we sometimes need to remember personal responsibility. Okay, I think the first really important thing is to differentiate our needs from our wants. This sounds simple and something that we were probably taught as kids, but I feel like even as adults, sometimes we can get the two kind of confused. So when need is something like food or shelter, these are things that are essential to human survival. In the context of clothing, essentials are things like underwear, socks, t-shirts, jackets, you name it, depending on the climate in which you live. I think the issue we tend to face with clothing is that we are buying essentials, but the issue is that we are buying more than we need. How many of us have so much to wear and like nothing to wear at the same time? It's a big problem. And often there's like a negative feeling about repeating outfits, especially in front of people who have seen a repeated outfit before. Again, this is a sign of privilege because some people do not have clothes to wear, or they only own a single outfit. They cannot be thinking about, oh, I already wore this. Girl, be quiet. So this whole issue of repeating outfits being embarrassing is of little significance.
Lizzie McGuire, you are an outfit repeater. Maybe I'm an outfit repeater, but you're an outfit rememberer, which is just as pathetic.
Wearing the same basic pieces over and over again, it really inspires you to be creative because you have to find different ways to style these pieces, make them look interesting, maybe change up your jewelry. It takes some creativity, so I guess it is kind of easier to just give in and buy a new shirt instead of styling the one that you have. But I think the extra work goes a really long way, and thrifting is a really good way to shop sustainably. Sustainable brands tend to be a bit more expensive because they are actually paying their workers a fair wage, so you might encounter sticker shock when shopping from more sustainable brands, and this is why I really personally suggest thrifting and getting secondhand clothes. And there's a specific way that I'd suggest thrifting. I'm actually thinking about making like a whole video talking about that. I think when you thrift, you need to focus on getting pieces that you will actually wear, pieces that go with other pieces that you have, because you know, flamboyant pieces can be beautiful and unique and cool, but often they're not practical for everyday use, and so you might have like a ton of flamboyant pieces and you feel overwhelmed. So I'd say stick to the basics. Anyway, I hope that at the very least this video has been interesting. Perhaps you didn't think about how TikTok and fashion were kind of like connected in this way. I'd love to hear any thoughts that you have, and I just like to say again, if you like the video, consider liking and subscribing, maybe sharing with a friend. On this channel I like to talk about fashion, I like to talk about crochet, just creative stuff. What videos do you guys want to see in the future? Definitely leave them down below for me in the comments. I try to read all of my comments. I appreciate you guys so much. I cannot believe it is already December. Oh my gosh. But thank you for being here, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.